I'm in Central America at the entrance to one of the world's most fascinating archaeological discoveries. The ancient Maya considered caves to be portals to the underworld, the supernatural realm where their deities and ancestors exist.
Hearing strange sounds and experiencing unbelievable phenomena. These experts made discoveries that could only be described as shocking.
All these faces are carved, apparently there's hundreds and thousands of these.
But what they uncovered in the depths of Niagara Falls was beyond anything anyone could have predicted. So, let's dive in.
So we're climbing up. Yeah, hop, they're flying up. Look at it. You see it? You can do like...
In the early 20th century, engineers constructing the Niagara Parks power station unearthed a mysterious tunnel beneath the falls. This 2,200-foot-long tail race tunnel, designed to channel water used in hydroelectric generation back into the Niagara River, had been concealed for decades. In 2022, the tunnel was opened to the public as part of a new attraction at the Niagara Parks power station. Visitors can now descend 180 feet via a glass elevator, walk through the illuminated tunnel, and emerge at a viewing platform with breathtaking views of the Horseshoe Falls. Hell Mine. It started like any other day for the miners, digging away without a second thought. But then, something unusual happened. Strange noises echoed through the tunnels, almost like screams. But not from any human. They sounded unsettling, almost evil. Word quickly spread among the group. Some even whispered that they had stumbled upon the Hell Mine. It felt as though they were closer to something sinister than they ever imagined. It was no longer just work. It was something far beyond their understanding. Red fluid.
Ooh.
A miner was working in a cave, hoping to find some gold. As he dug through the dirt, he came across a strange red liquid. He wasn't sure what it was, but it didn't look like anything he had seen before. After washing off the sand, he found only a little gold, but his thoughts kept going back to the liquid. What could it be? He couldn't figure it out. The gold wasn't much, but the liquid left him curious. It didn't seem dangerous, just odd. The whole experience stuck with him, as he couldn't shake the mystery of that red liquid, even after his shift was over. Lasco Caves. The walls of Lasco Cave in France tell stories older than any book. Discovered in 1940 by a group of boys, the cave holds some of the most detailed prehistoric art ever found. The drawings include animals like horses, bulls, and stags, painted with skill and care over 17,000 years ago. These images have helped researchers learn how early humans saw the world. Because of the damage caused by air and light, the cave was closed to the public, and a full replica was built nearby for visitors. Lasco is a quiet reminder of how creativity and survival were once deeply connected. Bell Witch Cave.
Can you see through here? Wait! What the fuck is that? What? There's two rocks behind me.
Not far from a quiet town in Tennessee, there's a small cave with a big story. Locals say it's where the famous Bell Witch caused trouble back in the early 1800s. The family who lived nearby reported hearing voices and seeing strange things they couldn't explain. Over time, the cave became linked to the events, and many people now believe it holds some kind of energy. Visitors today say the cave feels different. Some describe it as heavy or still. Though there's no proof of anything supernatural, the legend continues to pull people in. Whether you believe the story or not, the cave's eerie calm keeps folks curious. Marble Caves. Far down in Patagonia, the Marble Caves rest along the shores of a bright blue lake, formed over thousands of years by water slowly carving the stone. The walls have soft curves and swirling patterns that look almost painted. What makes this cave stand out is how the color of the water changes with the seasons, reflecting shades of turquoise and deep blue inside the chambers. You can only reach it by boat, which adds to the peaceful and untouched feeling of the place. Many travelers call it one of the most beautiful spots they've ever seen, hidden away in a quiet corner of the world. Is Racevelt Ice Cave. In 1879, a local man discovered a strange opening high in the Alps, but no one believed there was anything inside. That changed when explorers later entered and found frozen chambers stretching for miles. Named Ice Racevelt, or World of the Ice Giants, the cave shocked scientists with its natural ice shapes, including massive towers and frost-covered walls that never melt. Stories spread of a hidden frozen world untouched by time. Though only a small section is open to visitors, the cave became famous for being the largest ice cave ever found. It drew attention, not just for the beauty, but for how late the world realized it was even there. Son Doong Cave. There's a cave in Vietnam so big it has its own weather. Son Doong Cave stayed hidden for years until a local man found it in 1991. But people didn't realize how huge it really was until explorers went in much later. Inside, they found a full jungle, a flowing river, and clouds hanging under the ceiling. Some parts of the cave are tall enough to fit a skyscraper. One of the most talked about features is a massive rock wall rising hundreds of feet high. Over time, people have found strange fossils and natural shapes that sparked lots of questions. With so much space and so few people inside, it still feels like a world untouched. Devil's Den. In Florida, there's a cave with glowing blue water that looks almost unreal. It's called Devil's Den, and it sits below ground like a hidden pond. Thousands of years ago, people lived around it, and today, fossil hunters have found ancient bones of animals like mammoths and big cats deep inside. The cave formed around a natural spring, and the water stays crystal clear year-round. The light from above shines through the opening, giving the cave a soft glow. Divers from all over visit to explore the calm waters and mysterious rock formations. Even though it's peaceful now, the history buried in those walls goes way back. Actun, Tunichil, Muknal. Tucked inside a forest in Belize, there's a cave filled with history you can actually see. It's called Actun Tunichil Muknal, but most people just call it ATM Cave. Getting inside isn't easy. You have to hike, swim, and squeeze through tight spots, but what's inside is worth it. The cave holds Mayan artifacts left untouched for hundreds of years. There's even a full skeleton, known as the Crystal Maiden, resting in one chamber, now covered in shining minerals.
And what's interesting on this skull is the hole that you can see on top of it. Obviously that was either caused because somebody hit it on the head.
People believe this place was once used for sacred rituals. Everything has been left the way it was found, which makes walking through it feel like stepping into a frozen moment from the past. Mammoth Cave. Mammoth Cave doesn't just have a big name, it's the longest cave system ever recorded. Hidden under Kentucky's hills, it stretches over 400 miles, with more still being discovered. People have been visiting for thousands of years, and even ancient tools have been found tucked in its dark corners. What makes this cave different is how open and complex it is. Some rooms are so large, they feel like underground cities. Others are narrow, twisting, and quiet. It's not just the size that impresses people, it's the strange shapes, the sounds, and the stories left behind. Exploring it feels like reading a natural history book written in stone. Devil's Hole. There's a deep water-filled cavern in Nevada that scientists still haven't fully mapped. It's called Devil's Hole, and it connects to a huge underground system that might stretch farther than anyone knows. The cave stays locked, not just because it's dangerous, but because it's home to a rare fish that lives nowhere else on Earth. The Devil's Hole pupfish has survived in this small heated pool for thousands of years. The water stays warm, and the oxygen levels are low, yet the fish continue to survive. Divers have tried to reach the bottom, but it drops sharply into darkness. Its mystery, both in nature and depth, continues to puzzle researchers. Chiselhurst Caves.
All these faces are carved. Apparently there's hundreds and thousands of these.
Beneath the streets of a London suburb lies a maze of man-made tunnels called Chiselhurst Caves. These passageways weren't formed by nature. They were carved out by hand over centuries. Originally dug for chalk and flint, the caves later served many purposes, from air raid shelters during World War II to concert venues. People have claimed strange things happen in the darkest parts, and ghost stories have floated around for years. The tunnels twist and turn so much that you need a guide to avoid getting lost. Visitors today come for the history, but the quiet, endless paths give the place a mysterious feel. Gomanong Caves.
So we're climbing up. Yeah, hop, they're flying up. Look at it. You see it? You can do like. This is the back, yeah?
In the middle of Borneo's dense rainforest lies Gomanong Caves, known for their towering walls and the sound of wings. These limestone chambers are packed with bats and swiftlets that make nests high above the floor. The nests are carefully collected for bird's nest soup, a prized delicacy. Workers climb tall bamboo ladders to reach them, making the job both risky and fascinating. The cave is also known for its strong smell and thick layer of guano covering the ground. Despite the unusual conditions, it's an important site for local culture and biology. Many believe the cave still holds secrets deep in its less explored corners. Ajanta Caves. Long ago, Portuguese sailors came across a stone elephant near a cave-filled island. They didn't know it then, but they had stumbled upon temples filled with ancient art. These were the Ajanta Caves, now famous for their massive carvings of Hindu gods. Each face shows a different side: creator, protector, and destroyer, carved with perfect balance. The mystery lies in how such detailed work was done by hand, deep inside stone, more than 1,000 years ago. Though many statues were damaged during the colonial years, the story of this lost island temple still draws thousands to its quiet chambers. Ajanta Caves. A British officer was hunting in 1819 when he spotted something odd through the trees: a carved entrance in a cliff. Behind it was one of the greatest discoveries of ancient Buddhist art. The Ajanta Caves had been forgotten for centuries, hidden by jungle. Inside, explorers found temples and paintings over 2,000 years old. The murals show scenes from the Buddha's life and everyday people, painted in rich colors that have survived against all odds. Ajanta quickly became world famous, not just as a monument, but as a story of rediscovery, of beauty almost lost to time. Freya Nikon Cave. For years, travelers in Thailand spoke of a cave where sunlight falls perfectly onto a royal shrine. That place turned out to be Freya Nikon Cave. The story began when a local nobleman found the cave by accident during a storm. Later, a Thai king visited and was so moved by the beauty, he had a small pavilion built right where the sunlight hits. Since then, the spot has been visited by royals, poets, and explorers, all drawn by its unusual lighting and peaceful setting. The story of its discovery, paired with its rare beauty, turned this remote cave into a national symbol of quiet pride. Melisani Cave. In ancient Greece, people believed Melisani Cave was sacred to nymphs, mythical spirits of nature. That legend stayed alive for centuries, but it wasn't until the 1950s that archaeologists found proof: clay figures, plates, and old tools under the cave's clear lake. The discovery confirmed the cave had once been a worship site, hidden for ages. What makes it more mysterious is how sunlight passes through the cave's ceiling, making the water glow bright blue. Visitors float across it in boats, surrounded by quiet rock walls and reflections. The cave's mix of natural beauty and myth made it one of Greece's most mysterious historic spots. Queva De Lost. Queva De Lost became widely known after a 1976 expedition led by astronauts and scientists, including Neil Armstrong. But long before that, stories surrounded this cave. Locals spoke of strange metal books and walls carved with symbols deep inside. One explorer, Juan Morix, claimed to have seen ancient golden artifacts hidden in its chambers. Though no official proof of treasure was found, the cave's large tunnels and straight-cut passages raised questions. How did such smooth walls form naturally? Was it once home to a lost culture? The Well of Baroot. In Yemen's desert, there's a deep hole known as the Well of Baroot, often called the Well of Hell by locals. Stories say it was a prison for spirits, and some even believed it cursed those who got too close. For years, people avoided it out of fear. But in 2021, a team of cavers finally explored the sinkhole. They found snakes, animal carcasses, and strange rock formations, but nothing supernatural. Still, the mystery hasn't faded. With a depth of over 100 meters and thick darkness at the bottom, the cave remains a place of wonder and unease, wrapped in ancient stories that still stir curiosity today. Stomach-Churning Caves. Centuries ago, people in Slovenia believed a river vanished underground as part of a divine path. That river turned out to be the Rika, which flows into the Stomach-Churning Caves. Inside, explorers found huge halls, rushing underground waters, and towering bridges suspended over deep canyons. What really made the caves famous was their sheer size. So large, it looked like a hidden world beneath the earth. Ancient writings suggest people used the cave's entrance as a sacred site long ago. Today, the mix of history, myth, and natural wonder makes Stomach-Churning a powerful reminder of how nature can hide great mysteries in plain sight. Fingles Cave. Fingles Cave looks almost too perfect to be real. It sits on the Isle of Staffa, with tall stone columns forming its sides like a giant pipe organ. What made it famous wasn't just the look, but the sounds. When waves crash inside, they make deep echoes that inspired composer Felix Mendelssohn to write music based on it. But even before that, legends said it was built by giants, especially the hero Fingal, who was said to have used the cave as a bridge to Ireland. The cave's strange shape, musical sounds, and deep roots in myth gave it a place in both science and story. Postogna Cave. When railway workers first opened part of Postogna Cave in the 1800s, they had no idea how large it really was. Soon, it was revealed to stretch over 20 kilometers, filled with stone curtains, long tunnels, and echoing chambers. But what truly caught attention was a strange creature living in the dark, called the Ulm, or baby dragon, by locals. This pale, blind animal can go years without food and lives deep in the cave's pools. Over time, visitors came not only to see the formations, but to catch a glimpse of this rare animal. The blend of science and mystery made Postogna world famous. Lost Dutchmans Mine. In the Superstition Mountains of Arizona, people have searched for over a century for the Lost Dutchmans Mine. The story started with a man named Jacob Waltz, a German immigrant who claimed to have found gold hidden deep in the mountains. After he passed away, he left behind vague directions, and that started a rush of treasure hunters. Some said the mine was cursed, and strange accidents were later linked to those who looked for it. But despite years of searching, no one has ever found the exact spot. The mystery of where the gold might be still brings curious people to the desert. Great Orme Copper Mines. In 1987, construction workers near a hill called Great Orme uncovered something surprising: ancient tunnels filled with green-stained walls. What they had found was one of the world's oldest known copper mines, dating back nearly 4,000 years. People were amazed to learn that children once helped dig with stone hammers in narrow passages underground. The mine's story grew as more chambers were found, showing a huge network once used by prehistoric people. No one had expected such complex mining from so long ago. The Great Orme mines are now known not just for their age, but for changing what we thought about ancient skills. Witwatersrand Mines. Witwatersrand is the place where one of the biggest gold discoveries in history took place. In 1886, a man found gold in a stream near Johannesburg, leading to a rush that changed the country's future. The mines grew fast and became some of the deepest in the world, with workers digging miles below the surface. But what made these mines more than just rich was the mystery of how so much gold ended up in one place. Geologists still study the area to understand it. Witwatersrand's story is not only about wealth, it's also about a land that kept its secret buried for millions of years. Nika Crystal Mine. Beneath the ground in northern Mexico, miners drilling for lead stumbled upon something unexpected: huge crystals, some over 30 feet long. This was the Nika Crystal Cave, hidden inside the Nika mine. The crystals were made of selenite and had grown silently in high heat and humidity over thousands of years. The site looked like something from a dream, giant, glowing pillars shining in the light. Because of the intense temperature inside, it was nearly impossible to explore without special suits. The mine's story captured the world's attention as a rare place where nature quietly created one of its most beautiful secrets. Cherro Rico Mine. Cherro Rico, or Rich Mountain, earned its name when Spanish explorers found silver in the hills of Bolivia. The discovery led to a mining boom that lasted centuries and made the nearby town of Potosi one of the wealthiest in the world. But what gave Cherro Rico its strange reputation were the stories shared by miners. Deep inside, they placed statues called El Tío, spirit figures believed to control the tunnels. Offerings of coca leaves and alcohol were left to keep the spirits calm. The mix of wealth, hardship, and long-held beliefs turned Cherro Rico into a mountain full of legends. Gold Hill Mine. Tucked away in Tooele County, Utah, Gold Hill Mine became active during the gold rush days of the late 1800s. But its fame came not just from precious metals, but from strange reports over the years. Locals have shared stories of odd lights, lost tunnels, and even mysterious figures seen near the old structures. The mine once produced gold, silver, and copper, but later became linked to strange sounds that echoed from the deep shafts long after mining stopped. Today, people visit not only for the history, but also because of the curiosity that surrounds its quiet ruins and unexplained past. Kimberly Mine.
This is the big hole, which is De Beers' first huge mine, I believe. And it's quite deep, but now it's not active anymore as far as I know.
Known as the Big Hole, the Kimberly Mine became world famous after diamonds were discovered there. The hole was dug almost entirely by hand, making it one of the largest hand-excavated pits ever. People rushed to the area from all over, and the town quickly grew around it. But beyond the wealth, stories remain of lost diamonds, secret tunnels, and buried safes beneath the mine. Over time, the site became a symbol of both fortune and the human cost of digging deep. Even today, its perfect round shape and past discoveries continue to draw curious eyes. Kennedy Mine. Located in Jackson, California, the Kennedy Mine is remembered for being one of the deepest gold mines in North America during its time. It reached nearly 6,000 feet underground, and its long tunnels made it a challenge to work in. The mine closed in 1942, but over the years, many visitors and workers spoke of odd shadows, sudden chills, and strange echoes inside the dark tunnels. Although no official explanation was ever given, these accounts added a layer of mystery to its already rich past. Today, the mine is open for tours, and its long history still leaves many questions behind. Argyle Diamond Mine. Hidden in the remote Kimberley region of Western Australia, the Argyle mine gained attention for its rare pink diamonds. For years, this mine was the only major source of pink stones, making it incredibly valuable. But the story that followed it was not just about gems. Locals often spoke of the land being sacred long before mining began. Some believed the mine disturbed places tied to ancient stories. Though it is officially closed, its name remains strong in the world of diamonds. The mix of rare beauty and deep cultural meaning made Argyle a site filled with wonder and respect. Cripple Creek Mines.
Colorado was built on mining, especially mining for gold. Well, today in Teller County, that prized metal is still providing jobs and helping fund communities.
In Colorado's high mountains, the Cripple Creek Mines became famous during the gold rush of the 1890s. What began as a quiet cattle town quickly turned into a place filled with miners, fortune seekers, and wild stories. One of the strangest tales was about gold being found in rock types people once ignored. It confused experts and changed the way gold was searched for. Over time, more mines opened in the area, creating tunnels that stretched for miles. Even now, people explore the ruins, looking for signs of hidden shafts. The mines left behind a legacy full of wealth, confusion, and mystery. Gohar Mine. The Gohar Mine, located in the desert of southern Iran, became known for its massive iron ore reserves. But what attracted attention was not only its size, it was the discovery of ancient mining traces hidden underneath modern structures. Experts believe people were mining here long before machines existed. This mix of old and new surprised archaeologists who began studying how early civilizations may have worked with metal in the same place. The land beneath Gohar tells two stories, one of modern industry and one of forgotten skills. It became a rare example of how ancient work still shapes today's world. Mount Morgan Mine. On a hill in Queensland, Mount Morgan Mine turned into one of the richest sources of gold and copper in Australia's history. But what gave this mine a unique name was its link to one family, the Morgans, who ran it for years. Stories of hidden documents, sudden fortune, and even lost shipments of gold made the site more than just a mining spot. Some say not all tunnels were ever mapped, leaving room for forgotten chambers. The mine's long history, filled with success and secrets, has made it a place people still talk about. The ground may be quiet now, but its past isn't. Nevada City Mines. Nevada City in California once buzzed with gold seekers who believed the nearby hills were filled with treasure. During the 1800s, dozens of mines opened in the area, and people built a town around the booming business. But what made the Nevada City mines stand out were strange gold shapes, nuggets that looked like leaves and vines, earning the name crystalline gold. These rare pieces attracted collectors and made miners wonder how nature shaped them that way. As the gold ran out, many tunnels were left abandoned, yet the beauty and mystery of what was found there still pulls visitors in. Sudbury Basin Mines. Unlike other mines that formed over time, the Sudbury Basin has a very different origin. It was created by a giant space rock hitting the Earth around 1.8 billion years ago. That massive impact cracked the ground and pushed metals like nickel, copper, and platinum close to the surface. This made it one of the most mineral-rich areas on the planet. Over time, the deep mines dug into these layers and uncovered strange rock types not found anywhere else. Scientists and miners alike saw the place as more than just useful. It became a rare example of how space and Earth's history collided. Chuquicamata Mine. Chuquicamata, one of the world's largest copper mines, has been a key part of Chile's economy for over a century. The mine became famous after workers dug deep into the earth, uncovering vast copper deposits. The story that surrounds this mine is as much about the people who worked there as it is about the copper itself. The town that grew up around the mine tells its own story, with workers battling extreme heat and harsh conditions. What really made Chuquicamata stand out was how its huge pit, visible from space, transformed the landscape and left behind a legacy of both success and environmental challenges. Bingham Canyon Mine. Bingham Canyon Mine is one of the biggest open-pit mines in the world and a name many people recognize. Located in Utah, it's been a major source of copper and other metals for more than a century. But it became globally famous in 2013 when a huge landslide caused a massive collapse, changing the face of the mine. The landslide was so dramatic that it made headlines worldwide. Not only did it reshape the mine itself, but it also brought attention to mining practices and safety concerns. Bingham Canyon's incredible size and the unforgettable landslide story continue to make it a key part of mining history. Yakatarenburgg Mine. Yakatarenburgg Mine, tucked in Russia's Ural Mountains, gained a unique sort of fame due to its connection with the Romanov family. The mine itself is rich in minerals like gold and silver, but it's the story of the Russian royal family's tragic end that has captured people's imaginations. In 1918, the Romanovs were executed, and rumors spread that their remains were buried somewhere near the mine. The mystery surrounding their burial site has added an air of intrigue to the area, and treasure hunters have been drawn to it ever since. The mine continues to be a part of Russian history, where both mining and royal mysteries intertwine. Homestake Mine. Homestake Mine, once the largest gold mine in North America, is famous not just for its wealth in gold, but also for its role in science. The mine, located in South Dakota, operated for over a century and produced millions of ounces of gold. But what really made it stand out in history was how it became a center for scientific research. In the 1960s, physicist Raymond Davis Jr. used the mine to study neutrinos, tiny particles that are difficult to detect. His work led to a Nobel Prize in Physics in 2002. Homestake Mine is still remembered not only for its gold, but also for the groundbreaking research that happened beneath its surface. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. On August 9, 1954, Niagara Falls experienced a rare and dramatic event. Cracks began to appear in the rock beside the falls, signaling a potential shift. Movie-tone cameramen were quick to set up around the clock, capturing every moment. Their patience was rewarded when one Elas 85,000 tons of rock suddenly crashed down into the waters below. The footage they captured showed the immense power of the falls in a way never seen before. This rare natural occurrence reminded everyone of the constant, unpredictable changes in the landscape of one of the world's most famous natural wonders.